Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Who Do You Like Here podcast. Your host, Joey Sino, today. Going solo. It's just me this week. Kid will not be able to attend this week. It's a lot going on the last handful of weeks. I want to make sure I catch everybody up. I know it's been 2 weeks since we had a podcast. Kid and I have been communicating on it, obviously, with the Thanksgiving holiday, and just haven't been able to put a podcast together with some outstanding circumstances going on. And I just want to take a minute here to say thanks to all of our followers, all of our listeners, our loyal listeners that stay with us and follow us every week and follow us on the social medias. The kid and I, we do this. We've been doing this now for 4 years. We've had some other hosts, that were on the podcast when we first started. A lot's changed since we gave this a go 4 years ago. And, we're all of us together, or just me and the kid, we've got regular jobs, lives, kids, responsibilities outside of putting this podcast together. And we try every week to get together, take time out of our week to handicap and put together a production to be able to, give our picks for the week. And we love doing it. The kid and I absolutely, we get everything we need out of it, and we get so much more from all the followers and the listeners. But life does happen, and things do happen that take us away from being able to do the extra things like this podcast that we like to do so much. So I really want to take an opportunity to, in this hiatus, a lot of people, who have become really close friends of ours, close friends of the podcast. Barry Sniper Spears, Elio, Mr. Ice from Barstool, Rennie, Nikki O, hockey parlay guy from Texas, Still Will, Matthew DeSantis, some of our other followers, Kizzy. I mean, there's so many people that have reached out, making sure everything was still good. It makes us feel good. Not only that, we've got this bond and this relationship now through the sport of horse racing that we all love, but just the genuine care, and from a ton of other followers too that we have on our social media. So we're doing good. We're moving forward. We're getting our feet underneath us, and really, God willing, we're going to be back full strength and putting up some strong content, getting some of these interviews that we have rescheduled. That's another thing too, is the jockeys and trainers that we talk to get scheduling. When we have to bow out, we have to try to reschedule. Everyone's just been really understanding on the process here, and we're just looking to get back to normal and get some normalcy again here as we near close to the holidays for Christmas. So I just want to take that moment to let everybody know, much appreciated. We've come such a long way from when we first started 4 years ago, and it really only happens for everybody that's listening and watching and has been a part of our podcast family to help us grow to this point and to continue doing what we want to do, which is giving you out picks every week. Winners, losers, I don't know, but we're giving you out picks every week. So that's what we're trying to do. So going to be an abridged kind of podcast this week. There were so many things we want to talk about this week, right? We haven't really talked about the Paco Lopez situation. That's kind of worked itself out here with the suspension that got handed down, not to mention the ownership finally coming from him, the trainer taking the back door, going the other way, and now going back, instead of supporting the jockey, supporting the horse, which is more important. But there's so many things we want to talk about that whole entire process. People were on both sides of the equation on this, and I find it hard to believe that anybody could be on the other side of what was done. So I'm just going to say my piece real quick. I think it was just atrocious. I think it was for all to see. Obviously, this wasn't something that happened in a barn that nobody had a video on it. This is post-race scenario. So just a horrible situation. It adds another level of a black eye to the sport. I'm just glad things have kind of progressed the way they have, and that things are moving in the direction where Paco's taking some ownership, and suspension was handed down, wasn't allowed to ride in Jamaica. Just everything needs to follow a certain path, and it has so far. Let's see where things move forward. I just don't really, you want to throw money at something or aftercare, that's great. But that's not really solving the issue. Take money out of the equation. Let's see what else you can do from an ownership perspective, Paco, and see how you can make this better and turn a positive out of this big negative. saw a lot of trainers and stuff on Twitter too, also talking about Rapoli and a lot of others. But we've got a lot to talk about still. There's a very, very, very early portion of Kentucky Derby possibles that are out there that we kind of wanted to have some discussions with some of the early preparations that go on for 2-year-olds at this time here, looking into the first Saturday in May. So we'll get into those discussions when the kid gets back as well. There's news in outside the sports world of horse racing, with all the stuff going on in baseball world here with the Soto signing. Kid and I both being Mets fans, we're really excited about that, and I'm sure we're going to talk more about that. Lots to talk about when the kid is back. Looking and hoping to have him back next week, and like I said, move things forward. So I'm not going to just sit here and talk to you guys about my opinions. I like the kid's opinions too. I like when he chimes in. It gives you a total bigger feel on the discussions that we have behind the scenes. But I'm really just going to get right into the handicapping here. It's going to be a short one, but nonetheless, it's a podcast for you. So we're going to Louisiana this week. I'm going to Louisiana this week. We're going to do the Fairgrounds. We're going to cover – it's Louisiana Stakes Day, so I do like this day. Prior to the holiday, all non-graded stakes races here for the late pick 5, starting in race 6 for the first leg. This would be the juvenile stakes, which is 6 furlongs, $100,000 non-graded stakes race for state bred. So kind of an interesting race here. First off, Fairgrounds. For some reason, early on in the campaign, when Fairgrounds opened, which was the Thanksgiving Day weekend, man, it just seemed like there were some crazy prices. I really tried to remember how things were last year when Fairgrounds started. And it's starting to move towards the form that I remembered it. But early on, I was not as successful as I thought I was going to be on Thanksgiving Day or the week after. Week after got a little better. I think maybe the track conditions have changed, or maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just focusing a little more attention on it. That first week, the jockey colony is starting to get more solidified. Jose's been there since day one. Jareth is obvious there as well. Good friend of the podcast. And now you're seeing some of the normal jockeys that we normally see starting to get the mounts, and maybe a little less shippers from Evangeline Downs and Louisiana Downs, and more horses that are shipping into Fairgrounds. And I know the Oaklawn meet just opened too, which is kind of interesting. I was debating which way to go. Decided we're going to go with the Fairgrounds for the stakes day. So race 6, I'm going to go with the 2 here. Hey Jude. Listen, these are really young horses here. Very short sample size of what you're getting from 2-year-old colts in this race. But Hey Jude has had 2 races, 85 and 84, breaking its maiden at 35,000, then winning a non-graded stakes race last time out at Fairgrounds. The time on that 111, the fraction is 21:45, so real fast pace, and he kind of just sat off, and Jareth ran him down late in the stretch, won by 3/4 of a length. I think that's a really good race. It's a solid race if you look at it, because there's some other competitors in here that are also in that same race that I also like. I do think that Voila Magic, this is going to be another tough horse here with Jose Ortiz. Another kind of stalking trip in that same race. There was a first-time Lasix after breaking its maiden. If you like the one, you got to like the other in this race. So I think that's kind of where my picks kind of fell into, or horses that were running similar races and both ran bang-up races. Again, Jareth just getting the nod, maybe got the jump on that race. And then you got your 8-5 favorite on the outside in the 6, which is Smokin' Wicked. And I will say that I wasn't really as excited about this horse as I think the odds maybe are showing. I think the horse is great. Listen, it's been out 6 times, got 2 wins and a second and a third place finish. And it is a 98 speed figure last time out, which was $100,000 optional claiming, which was at Churchill Downs. So a little bit of a classier race. It ran in the Champagne, came in 4th, albeit by 15 lengths. And it did run in the Hopeful, which was leading, and then wound up coming in 4th in that race by 3 lengths. And then prior to that, the Saratoga race, which was a grade 2. So the horse has really been running in a lot of class and a tougher competition than what you're really seeing here. So I can see why it's the 8-5 favorite, but I don't know how much the race setup really sets up in its favor. I'm seeing that it's probably going to wins on the front. It's going to be really, really close near the pace. So I don't think that's going to change anything from Jose's perspective or Jareth's perspective in the race. I think they're going to let Colby go out to the front and set the fractions out there and then make that stalking trip. So I have to add the 6 in there, but I really don't like it in the win position. I do like it in the 2nd or 3rd position, more in the exotics. And then I actually like the 7. It's only a one-time starter, broke its maiden at 58,000 at the Fairgrounds over the surface with a 77 speed figure. I'm looking for an upgrade on that. Should improve after that first time out. And Greg Foley really has a way of getting his horses in the right spot a lot of times. Good maiden to win ratio. and non-graded stakes race at 26% win for the trainer as well. And Marcelino Pedrosa is one of those jockeys that if I don't have him in there, he does well. And at 15-1, I think it adds a lot of value on a horse that probably is going to be on the higher end with the three that I'm talking about being more your top three probably choices. I think you can find some value in Hesper, the 7, to make this a worthwhile exact or a try. So I'm going to keep the 2 on top. The 4 is really tough. 2-4 would be a great combination, but I'm going to keep that 6 in the, like I said, second, third position, and that 7 in the second and third position. And that's what I like for the exotics in that race. But, as I'm going through these, reach out to us on Twitter, like our X. I keep saying Twitter. I guess I'm old school. Reach out to us on X. Go ahead and just message us. Post some messages. Put out our comments when we put the ticket out this week. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you're seeing. Tell us how your weeks are going on the track. If you're hitting the, at the Fairgrounds in Louisiana, let us know. Show us your tickets. Let's go ahead and get all these wins together. But I always like hearing from the listeners as well, how they're doing and what they're seeing in races. That's kind of the best part about this whole job here that we do in this industry is like everybody's opinions matter. You should really take everyone's opinion into account when you're handicapping races. They see something you don't. Let's go to the seventh race. Seventh race is a mile on the 16th. This is the Louisiana Turf. It's another $100,000 non-graded stakes race. This is 3-year-olds and upwards this time. Obviously, a little bit of a tougher race here. I landed on the 5. Who took the money? CJ McMahon going to be running this one for Brett Calhoun. Calhoun is one of those great trainers here, and he's got a lot of live horses. This is one of them. Last time out on the turf, made a great closing move. I see off pace in this race. The turf seems to be somewhere where you can gain some ground late, and I think this is going to be the calling for this one. Should be some early fractions on some front runners. A few that I actually do like to hit the board, but I actually like the 5 to run them down here. Last time out, 89 speed figure, just missing, hitting the board. Came in 4th, but only by a length and a half, and that's making up 11 lengths, which this horse has been 11 lengths, 12 lengths out before, and never really made the move. And if you're looking at like kind of how it was running early in the year to now, it's really getting into better form. 89 speed figure last time out, not near its career best, but the six-year-old out of Street Boss, I think, is in a prime position to move late. Now there was an optional claiming 80,000. It wasn't a non-graded stakes race, but 3 back it did quite well, albeit Evangeline Downs. And CJ really knows how to ride the horse, been riding it pretty consistently now for the last handful of months and entries for this race. So I do like the 5 on top. I like the 4 as well. You got to play Jose. He's really running a great meet. He's really been, since he made the switch to go to Kentucky and now go to Fairgrounds, he's really bolstering his career. And I really applaud him then riding side saddle with everywhere that his brother seems to go and, battling him or running second and third fiddle. He's getting good mounts. He's getting great opportunities, making the most of them right now. 46 opportunities, 19 wins, 6 second place finishes, and 8 thirds, 41% in the money. So listen, I'm just going to say that you got to put him and consider him. And on horses like this that really run well on the turf, you're looking at the body of work here. The races that are the most, I guess, ones you really want to toss out here was the Evangeline Downs race on July 6th and the one on March 2nd at the Fairgrounds. Both of those were, taken off the turf and put on off conditions on the mud or on the dirt. So getting back to the turf here is really, really key. This is where the horse does its best work. I think it's going to have a fantastic opportunity to possibly win here. Matter of fact, I'll probably even run some exotics with the 4 on top, even though I picked the 5 as my top pick. 4 and 5 are really closely raced. And I just think it's really in a good position. And it does show up on non-graded stakes races. So as long as the horse is competing against other horses in this kind of class to some level, I think it bodes well for it here. I do like the 3 Behemoth Star. This is one that, if you're looking at all the races, a lot of like races that came off the turf that it's running and hasn't really run that great. You have to go all the way back to, a year ago to see a turf race. And it was actually not its last win. Technically, its last win was on January 13th at the Fairgrounds. But the last time it's ran on turf, it did win on December 23rd, just before the holiday last year. And it beat a few of these that are in here, and I really don't see anything different. I think getting back on the grass is a huge boost here. I think Shane Wilson's been looking for an opportunity. It's just been getting really caught in the blender and not being able to get this horse to get back to grass. So he keeps putting it also just lets it run on the dirt and keeps it in there, or else I don't think he'd be able to find any races over the course of the year to run on the turf that he was looking for to meet. So non-graded stakes race on the turf really sets well for the 3 as well. Behemoth Star, Jose Guerrero. And then I'm going to give you another price horse that I like underneath, which is the 2. That's My Solution. Horse strictly turf. So we're going totally different. This horse is getting every opportunity on the turf to make a name for itself, albeit it is running in some cheaper claimer races, optional claiming 12s and 20,000. But last time out at 59,000, it really just tried to steal the race. He had a mile in the 16th, ran out of gas late and lost by 11 lengths, 5th in a field of 10. But at least he went out there and set 23 and 47 and 2. So I give it more like a glorified work. And yeah, this is a big jump up in class. But I do think that's an opportunity for this horse to run a strong race, maybe get a ground saving trip. You got Mitchell Murrow, who's always really good at riding these horses that you really can't consider out. And the horse does have a couple wins, knows how to win, has a nose for the finish line. It's a big jump up in class, but at 12-1, I definitely like it in my exotic. So I will definitely be putting that in the third and fourth position if I'm playing any kind of a super. We'll move on to the 8th race. 8th race, 6 furlongs. This is the Sprint Stakes. This is going to be for 3-year-olds and upwards. As we keep moving on, the races really kind of get a little tougher, but now you get some familiar names and faces that you're going to see here. Free Like a Girl, this 5-year-old out of El Deal. It's a horse that's just been like really consistent in 42 lifetime starts, 21 wins, 11 seconds. Last year, this horse had 11 starts complete with 6 wins. So far for 2024, 13 times out this year, 6 wins. So it's really doing what it does every year. This mare has run consistently in the money, no matter what the year is or how old it gets. And it seems to kind of get a little better with age. So has run at Oaklawn, has run at Churchill Downs, Delta for a few races that it won. And then first time at the Fairgrounds on November 23rd, won that race in a non-graded stakes race, 100,000 for state bred. So the workout coming in, same as always. Let's run a 3 furlongs, and it shows up with a bullet at 35 and 3. This is my top pick. Elio Barrero's been riding this horse also for the last 4 times, so it's got the mounts ever since Saez was the last jockey back in September. Now we're good to go. Got some consistency at the jock. We got some consistency in the workouts, consistency on the races, consistency on the surface, everything you want to see. So the 5 is my top pick, no doubt. I do like the 4 Freeburn. We're going right back to the Jose Ortiz factor on this one, right? So it gets them out. First time on this horse, but Steve Asmussen has been leveraging a lot of opportunities to get Jose on his horses. This one makes a lot of sense too, but I do like it in the underneath positions. I don't think it's going to be in contention on the top. Last time out, 88 speed figure in a 9-graded stakes race for 100,000. That one also at the Fairgrounds, losing to Nunya, which by a half length. But that was a very competitive race, very neck and neck, head to head. Just kind of lost the battle here over the course of the 6 furlongs. But this is a 6 furlong horse, and the workouts are solid. Nothing really great over the top. You have to go back to like November 9th coming into the race that it just last had, and it ran a bang-up race. More previous workout opportunities, 50 and 52. Nothing really flashy there, just generalized works. So anything better than the works, I may have bumped this one up. But I'm going to keep it in the 2nd and 3rd position nonetheless. I like the 1. I know it's crazy, but I also like the 1. I know it's not Lovey, but it's Louis V, maybe, Luyv. Say it how you want. Interesting horse from a couple different perspectives. Ran a 75,000 non-graded stakes race, Louisiana Downs, 2 back on August 31st. 83 speed figure in that race, losing 2 other horses in this race, but still was competitive and was up close, was in the mix quite often. That was on an off track. It seems like the race before that was an off track too. It was a good track, not a fast track. At Evangeline Downs, and it won that race with a 90 speed figure. So, and that was its career best. So there's something to the horse that's actually in good form. It's going to get a great opportunity to run a little, some better class, some faster horses, but the workouts coming in are great. I did like the 48 flat on November 29th, and I really like the one coming in here on December 6th, which is 47 and 2. I know it's only a best of 7, but the horse is really sharp at 12-1. I definitely want it in my exotics. I'm not going to pass up an opportunity to get a price horse at the rail that should get a nice kind of I would say a ground saving trip, somewhere be up close in a stalking position. And we'll see if Munoz, who has strictly ridden this horse since looks like 24th of February from Delta Downs, has had the mount for Garland Goen. So we will see. Nice price horse that I do like. We'll see if that pays off. Maybe across the board on that one possibility. And then the 8 Nunya, that's the other one I really like. Nunya Business. What's not to like? Really, the horse is mid-packer to a stalking kind of trip. 8 times out this year, 6 times in the money with 2 wins. Last year, 7 times out, 4 wins only. So as a 6-year-old mare, I would say, I would expect this horse to be running in probably a little lesser grade quality horses from Evangeline Downs and Delta Downs, but it's run a lot of non-graded stakes races. Matter of fact, you'll find more optional claiming, more graded stakes races, non-graded stakes races than optional claiming races in the last year with this horse. So used to the limelight, just a little inconsistent in the speed figures, kind of an on again, off again, on again, off again. It technically should be in the off again rotation, but I'm going to put it in the on again here and edit my exotics as well. Jose Rodriguez gets them out. Second time he'll be on this mare, and the workout, last workout coming into that last race was nice 48-3, which was a bullet. No published workout since then. That's why I'm downgrading it just a little bit, but still looks to possibly hit the board. So that's where I'm at. I'd actually like the 1, I guess, over the 8. So 5, 4, 1, 8. That would be my in order picks, but 5 nonetheless is my top pick. That's what I'm going to go with for my exotics. But I will probably spread out 2 or 3 maybe in that race if I do any horizontals and I play this late pick 5, which I probably will. Ninth race, mile and 16th. This one's back on the turf now. So it's the ladies' turf, fillies and mares, 3 years old and upwards. Really, really tough race. It's a really, really tough race. You got to split hairs if you're going to go ahead and make a decision and try to put one horse on top. If I did, I'm going to go with Boom and Bell if I had to give my top pick. And just the consistency from speed figures and the grass running since it left the barn from Mark Cassidy and has got over to Mike Maker, 2 times out in the new barn, a mile and the 16th. The mile won that race by 2. That was an allowance 34,000 and then an allowance 25,000 for fillies and mares. Mile and 16th last time out. Third by 3 lengths with Louis Saez, wasn't able to do anything. That was at Churchill Downs. So the horse wins at Gulfstream Park. It wins at Indy. Did not win at Churchill Downs, and now it's coming out here to the Fairgrounds. It'll be the first time over the surface for this horse. But I think it bodes well. I think it kind of sets up in a good kind of mindset on where the horse should be. I like to see it forwardly placed. I don't want it to take the lead, but I think Jareth will set it just off, coming from the outside with some cover, and kind of put it in 3rd, 4th position, make his move when he needs to. You're going to be watching the 11 that's going to be also trying to do the same thing. Went to the front and won in a stalking position when it broke its maiden debut at Louisiana Downs on August 12th. And then November 29th, an 82 speed figure. Yeah, it's his career best because it's only had two opportunities. But Jose was on for that mount at the Fairgrounds, took well advantage of that, and optional claiming 12,000 race non-winners and was the favorite. So looks to be another tough one with Jose. He's going to keep getting these opportunities. He is the IRAD. He is his brother at this track right now. He's going to get all the favorite opportunities in most of these situations, and he should. He's proven himself time and time again. I'm going to go back to the rail for my 3rd choice, Highly Wicked. 2 back at an 86 speed figure. That went on the turf, and that's the one that sings out for me. Again, you've got the funny thing here is that Barrera actually has an opportunity to ride this horse. He's actually taking the mount on the 2 Emily's Bullet, and I don't know if that's a trainer opportunity here. He does team up with Chasey Pommier quite a bit, so I'm assuming he's just sticking with the trainer that works. So Marcelino Pedroza, like I said, another jockey that's always there in the mix, just a tough rider, is going to get the opportunity, and he had them out last time in a 3rd place finish at Fairgrounds, and that was back on November 23rd. So I do like the one, though. The speed figures there, the way the horse runs. This one should be your front runner, and I think will take to the turf at Fairground really well. It's only been 1 time over at Fairgrounds, and that was on the dirt. So this one's going to be on the turf. I think it's going to love it. A little bit of a softer ground going around, which I think is going to be a positive. But if it gets firm for some reason, the weather changes down there and it's extremely firm, I don't think it's going to be a problem either. So the 1 is actually a bump up for me, 2nd, possibly in the 1st position. It's just a really tough race in general when you're talking about some of these horses with such small sample size that you really know how they're going to react in these races, and the ones that have a lot of experience and still seem to do well on these non-graded races, just like the 1 in Highly Wicked. So the 10, 11, and 1, and then I'm going to throw the 8 in there, because if I don't throw in the 8, Cheapskate Diva, I'll probably kick myself in the ass, because this is one that makes a lot of sense to hit the board. 5 times out this year, 2 wins are completely off the board. So it's all or nothing. This should be a front running kind of opportunity for Carlos Marquez. The workouts have been great, and that's why I'm putting this one in. The class hasn't been fantastic, and when it gets to these stakes races, even at 75,000 non-graded, it hasn't really shown its best, but it does flash speed And that's what I think is important here, is that it's going to go to the front and should be winging, and the workouts really supported that. 5 furlongs in 1 minute and 2/5, 2 back for the workout on November 17th, and then most recently November 27th, 1 minute flat for 5 furlongs. So I love those workouts. Shipping in from Louisiana Downs. It's going to be tough. He's 0 for 5 at Fairgrounds, albeit, which I don't want to take that into account as well. But I want to have it on the ticket, at least somewhere on the exotic. So the 8 will be somewhere in the second and third positions, but it's going to be hard not to put the 1, 10, 11 in my horizontals, and all 3 of those on top in any kind of vertical plays. We're going to go ahead and finish this up. We're going to go to the 10th race. 10th race, 6 furlongs. This is the sprint, Louisiana Sprint, non-graded $100,000 race for 3-year-olds and upwards. You're really going to go chalky here, and I think if you could read a form, I'm not even going to have to give you all the basis on why I like it so much. But the 2 Go Sugar is definitely going to be one to contend with. This horse, again, 8 times out, 3 wins, a second and a third. The speed figures are consistently in the high 80s. You have to go 3 back here at Delta Downs with the 82 speed figure, which still is a lot better than a few of these horses in this race that you can go ahead and peel back on. But Go Sugar, Mitchell Merle, the workouts coming in, prior to his last race were fantastic. All 4 bullet workouts in a row, goes into the race on November 23rd, and just consistently has just been going out, showing front running speed. Got caught 2 back in an off track, but I mean, the last one here hanging on for 6 furlongs, will be out winging there. I think it's going to be in the money, probably first or second here, depending on what they actually go. They go at 21 and 44, may actually be able to hold on and win that race. It's going to depend who goes with them. Now, the 3, El De Niro, this is Jimmy Graham. He's going to hope that the 2's going out there as fast as possible, because he's going to be looking to close and make up ground late. 2 back ran 7 furlongs. I think that's a little outside of its window here. I think 6 furlongs is the distance specialist. This horse has run a lot of route races, but I think we're seeing here that 6 furlongs can actually be the ideal. Career best 97 speed figure last time out the Fairgrounds on November 23rd at 97. Really like that race, 100,000 non-graded stakes race. That's the one I'm kind of going off of. Just missed beating Go Sugar. So again, you stick with those 2. I think you're going to have 2 different perspectives. Try to wire the field, and one trying to nip them at the wire. So top 2 for sure right there. Try to add some value and find some money. I'm going to have to go the outside. I think Jack Hammer, Jose Ortiz, again, 100 speed figure last time out. And this one was on the off track. This is going back to March, though, right? So this horse had a lot of time off. I don't know. You're looking at 90 days away. Brett Calhoun, whether it's 45 days, 90 days away, those longer stretches, he really does bring his horses back well. So I try to literally focus on the workouts and see what I'm seeing here prior to going on the shelf and then coming out. And the November 22nd workout at 5 furlongs and 59 and 1 and a 59 and 4 on November 29th tells me that everything is where it needs to be for this horse off the layoff. So I really love this horse. Normally I'd like to see one back off the shelf, but this is one that could potentially win it. So the 11 is a pick. If you're talking horizontals, you're adding this one in all your picks all the way across the board for sure. So you want to have the 3, you want to have the 11. You don't want to pass any of those up. If I'm looking for any kind of price outside of the 3 chalks that I just gave you, it's the 13 Braun and Brow. Excuse me. Nothing to scream about or brag about when it comes out to the workouts, but you're really just looking at consistency of being able to maybe sit in a stalking position. And last time out against a couple of these horses in this race on November 23rd, just sat in a kind of a guarded position, 7th place, 5 lengths back. Didn't really make a move till late. Passed a few tired horses, I'll give that, but in a field that tend to finish in 3rd in a non-graded stakes race after running 3 consistent optional claiming 25,000, it got bet down. And against state breds, this horse really runs really, really well. When it goes to open company, it does falter. But state breds all day long. So I really do like this horse. If you're looking from the state bred perspective, just in this year alone, right? You got one opportunity with a 3rd, but then going back to the end of last year, you're looking at December, January of this year, February of this year, 3 stakes races, non-graded, all state bred, 2nd win and win, 2 of those at the Fairgrounds. So 10 opportunities over the track, 5 wins, 3 places, and a 3rd. 6 to 1. I'd love to see it go to 8 to 1 and hit the board. That would be a nice little price play for the 13 as well. So that'd be the picks for the last race. I think you got to keep them all in perspective. The 2, the 3, and you definitely want to have the 11 and prices the 13. So you got 3 chalks and maybe a little 8-1 shot to make some kind of a try or some kind of opportunity. That's your late pick 5. That's your picks from C-Note. Again, before I send everybody away, thank you everybody for being patient and sticking with us through this small rough patch. We're going to be, we'll be fine. We'll be moving on stronger and better. Really, really excited for the kid to come back on and join me to be able to have some of these conversations and some of the debates. And then really, really looking forward to all the interviews we got scheduled here over, I won't say the off season, December's kind of that lull, even November. But it is that time of year where things get a little quieter, and then we're right back on for the Kentucky Derby runs and all the stakes races and the Pegasus. So a lot of good things to come here in the next handful of weeks and in the next 2 months. And like I said, thank you everybody for following up with us, reaching out. That's your picks for the week. Good luck on your pick 5s. Let us know how you're doing. Send us an email or just retweet back out to us. Tag us in any of your winnings. We'd love to see them. And my dog wants to get up here for the final picture. So yeah, say hi. All right, Charlie. All right, so we're gonna say goodbye until next week for the kid and myself. Good luck on all your tickets. Let's have a week.